Welcome to lesson 4. Today, we will learn conditional statements and loops, two powerful concepts in Python. These allow our programs to make decisions and repeat actions automatically. Let's start. What is conditional statement? Conditional statement let your program make decisions based on certain conditions. For example, let's say I'm going to create another file, call it lesson 4. So if I have age variable, I get my input. Okay, let me force this to be an integer. I get my input from my user, enter your age. So I'm going to print a result to the user based on condition that I give the program. If age is greater than or equal to 18, now our program is getting more interesting. Our learning is getting more interesting. We are using operators. We call these operators greater than equal signs. We call them operator, which I'm going to explain more better in our subsequent lessons. But for now, it's simple as what you are used to. Print, you are an adult. If I run this program, enter your age. If I write 20, it's going to tell me you are an adult. But what happens if I enter number less than 18? Let's try that. Let me input 7. Can you see? Nothing happens because we didn't declare anything to happen here. We didn't ask the program to do anything if the number is less than 18. So we'll get to that very soon. Now, what will make us get to that is we use if-else statement. If-else statement. I'm going to comment this so that you have your old explanation. We don't override what we have learned. So if age is greater than or equals to 18, print you are an adult. Else, what should happen? We tell the program to print you are not an adult. All these things you are learning, they are what combine and make up programming software. So you take note of everything you are learning, and once you have everything packed together, matched together, you are going to build something amazing. Try to follow all my lessons, and we'll get there soon, which you are going to be a wonderful programmer. So let's run this. If you have enter your age, as we did the other time, if I enter 18, you are an adult. But if I enter something less than 18, what do we have here? Okay, let me run the program again. Sorry about that. So enter your age now, 8. You are not an adult. We have already given the program to what? To handle else case. So if your age is greater than or equals to 18, you are an adult. If anything else, you are not an adult. That's how you let your program make decisions based on what is available. We can expand our if statement to if, elif, and else. Now let's expand our code. If you have if age less than 13, print you are child. Elif, sorry, here you have to take note of your block, your indent. You can see we have 4 space for our indent. It's very important in Python. Otherwise, you are going to have a runtime error. So that means everything under this should run. This is it. Everything we are going to put under this, everything you want to run. So if age is less than 20, you should print you are, sorry, you have to make it string by wrapping it. You are a teenager. Can you see? S, anything that comes that are not within the range of this will be handled here. So we have print you are an adult. Okay. So it's very, very important you note your block of code. See, this is a block of code. This is another, and this is another. So everything you have after this 4 space indent is going to run under this, and this, and this. If you don't do that, we are going to, if you, for example, close one indentation, can you see? It's going to give you error in your code. So the indentation is very, very important in Python, unlike programming languages like PHP, JavaScript. You don't have to concern about the indentation because you are handling your block of code with a curly bracket. So Python is a very good programming language because it makes you maintain your code to be readable. So it doesn't give room to mistake of indentation. So without a proper indentation, your code won't run. So now let's run our program. Enter your age. If I say I'm 4 years old, it's going to tell me you are a child. If I say I'm 17 years old, it's going to tell me you are a teenager. If I say I am 30 years old, it's going to tell me you are an adult. Can you see? That's how programming in Python makes you write powerful program. You can make decision based on what you have with a very powerful conditional statement. So you can add these as many as possible, then you give it a default value S. So if all your conditions are not met, it will fall within the S. Okay. So that's that on that. Let's look into loops. That we call loops a now what is loops? Loops let us repeat action without writing the same code again. So if you want to repeat something, you don't have to doing it again and again. You can just loop them through values, which I'm going to show you now. Let's comment this out so that we can have our listed code to run. So if I have, we have for loop and we also have while loop. Let's look at for loop. If I have for I in range, this value can be anything. So it's not composite, it's I, it can be X, can be A, can be B. So for I in, it's like a variable assigned to every value of this loop. So you can have for I in range 5, print the value that says Python is fun. Shall you see that? Let's run our program. I have to comment this out. We don't want this for now. So let's run our program again. Let's run our code. If you have, as you can see, when we run Python for I in range 5, this can be any number, can say 100. It's going to take a lot of some of your CPU, but it's going to run very fast. And you see, so what you can see, you will notice that the number starts from 0 and ends at n minus 1. That's 4. So we call that indexing. So it's going to it's like this range created something like this. Created something like this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have 5 values. So that's what it created. So we now look through this value to print out Python is fun. So every value in this range interpret to this I, which we print here. So that's just as simple as it is. We also have while loop. Let's try some example on our while loop. While loop runs until condition becomes false. It will run whatever you ask it to run until the condition becomes false. So for example, if you have this count equals to 0, that means you set your initial value for your loop, which is very important. Then while count is less than 5, print counting count. So because you are using while loop, you are going to increment. This is an increment operator. So we will increment our value by 1. If we run this code, let's see our output. Can you see? If we comment this, let's comment this not to get confused. Comment it out. So let's run the program again. So you can see counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we tell the program to stop when the number is no more less than 5. If you put 15, you are going to run from 0 to 14. Can you see? Very simple to understand. So that's how you use your while loop. We've talked about for loop. and our while loop. These two loops are very important. You'll be using it mostly in your programs. Now, what we are going to do now, we are going to combine what we have learned, everything we have learned in this lesson in a single program. We can use loops and conditional statements together in one program. Let's try that. Now, let's try that by doing this. If I have for I in range 1 to 6, if I, this is a modular operator. We are going to treat operator in our next lesson because we are using most of them, so I don't want you to get confused. So if I modular 2 equals 0, you do print I is even. What we are doing here, this operator means when we divide our value I by 2 and our result equals to 0, we tell the program to print even. But if you have S of course is an odd number. Print I is odd. You see? So remainder after division, that's what this does. If it equals to 0, it's even. As you've known, any number divisible by 2 is an even number. That's not a rocket science, what we have known before, but we are implementing it in our program. So if you have this, we tell the system to range from 1 to 6. I don't want it to start from 0. So I have to tell the program to range it from 1 to 6. So 1 is odd because it cannot be divisible by, cannot be divided by 2, of course. The result is not going to be 0, so it's odd. So what about 2? If you divide 2 by 2, the result, if you remove 2 in its multiple way from 2, the result is going to be 0. That's what we have here. So from 1 to 6. That's how you can implement loops and if statement together. So by learning all this, you are becoming a programmer. In few time, you are going to be writing a standalone program by yourself in Python. So I'm going to ask you to do something as we usually do in our lessons. You are going to ask a user to enter a number from the terminal and you print all the number from 1 to that number. You print from 1 to that number entered by user. And for each number, you are going to say whether it is even or odd. You put your answer in the comment section if you watch this video to the end. Awesome. Awesome. You now know how to use conditions and loops in Python. In the next lesson, we will learn about functions, which is also very important in programming. We'll learn functions and we will talk a little about operators before we go into function. So we are going to be using the operators more. So function, which allows us to group code and reuse it easily. You don't have to write the same code all the time. Thank you. See you in our next lesson.